Let's talk Raw highlights from the Braun brothers not using their manners. You've got the devil's butt kiss and nipple slips. There's a lot to talk about for Raw. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Assemble. My name is Matt. So Monday Night Raw kicked off with the Braun brothers showing up. You got Adam Pearce in the ring, and he's waiting to give us an update with Seth Rollins. He is out with injury. He got the shoulder surgery. And then you got the Braun brothers showing up, and Braun Breaker. He's got the World Heavyweight Championship. He needs to relinquish said title over to Adam Pearce. He says, nah. So what we end up getting is them going off for about, 5-8 minutes, talking about using their manners to say pretty please, give back the belt. Adam Pearce wants it back, and then they're going to make the announcement that later in the night, the main event is going to be a battle royal for who will be the #1 contender going up against CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship, the vacated title, everybody. Pearce leaves, and then we get like an extra minute or two with Paul Heyman talking with the Braun brothers in the ring, dressing everybody. Throughout the night, I thought there was some good stuff with Braun Bronson and Paul Heyman, like Paul with Becky Lynch backstage. There were some moments I was hoping, and maybe it's just, wanting too much too soon. I was hoping to see them really kind of take over Raw and do way more, be way more menacing. They were very clearly pushed into the background for this battle royal thing that they were going to get done. And that was the main story for the night. But these two did not. It's odd. In Vision fashion, you would expect them to show up all over Raw and DQ and end every match and get involved in everything. And they really didn't. So it was kind of a shocker that they weren't more involved in the whole night. Now, speaking of shockers, we did get brand new tag team champions. Didn't really see this coming. I know that we had the match announced like last week, but we had AJ Styles, Dragon Lee. They defeated the Judgment Day, Finn and JD McDonough. They are new tag team champions. What does this mean for the tag division? This seems very odd couple-ish. I didn't really need AJ Styles to win the tag titles with Dragon Lee. I don't know what they're doing with this and what the direction is going to be, other than maybe we are inching towards the breakup of Judgment Day, but we seem to say that every single month or every 2 months. They never pull the trigger on this. I don't know what they're going to do. There were signs of some deception, all of that in the Battle Royal because Finn, JD, and Dom were all in there. I don't know what direction they're going to take with these guys. I'd like to see them break up, honestly. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee is a very odd pairing. Now, unless they're going to do more AAA stuff, and that's what they want to do and get more representation for the WWE World Tag titles, bringing them over to AAA. I don't know why, though, because you have the AAA tag titles. So are they going to rebuild this tag division? The Raw tag division is absolute trash, by the way. It's been this way since its inception, it feels like. That we have no teams and nobody's going after it, and it's a big old nothing. But I will say, this match, super fun. Really good highlights. It built all the way to the very end. Totally thought Judgment Day would retain, but you know what? We've had title changes all over WWE for the last 2 weeks. Now we've had Seth with injury, we've had the Braun brothers make the big turn, you've had Ilya Dragunov win the US title, tag team title changes. There's a lot of shakeup happening, and it's kind of refreshing at least. So curious to see where it goes. I'll be optimistic. Okay, next was one of my favorite things we got going on in WWE right now, on main roster anyways, on Raw, is Dom Mysterio. Continuously making things fun. Dom is getting over. The crowd reactions are all pops and positives. He goes up against Rusev for the Intercontinental title. A lot of title matches on Raw, which I really like. And you have Dom retain. He beats Rusev, but in the way that you would hope and expect him to do. It's all by cheeky business. So Dom goes out and he grabs the hammer ringside. Penta gets involved. So we got Penta, Rusev, Dom all mingling around the IC title, which is nice. But Dom grabs the bell hammer and he's gonna hit Rusev with it, gets caught. But as the referee's taking the hammer away, he nutshots Mr. Rusev, goes down, and Dom picks up the victory over Rusev, which is great because as the match played out, Rusev dominated Dom Mysterio, which he should. Rusev should be champion, but he got just screwed over by Mr. Dom Dom. There's going to be a point very, very soon, I think, where they're going to have to flip Dom Mysterio and make him a babyface. Women's Intercontinental title match, Maxine Dupri getting that title match against Becky Lynch. A good match. I was very distracted by Maxine Dupri's leggings. Like, they were very ultra shiny. It looked something out of a video game, like where you had a filter put on for the level you're playing. I just couldn't look away. Not in like a fun, like, ooh, this looks nice. It was just kind of like off-putting in some parts. But anyways, I thought the match between Maxine and Becky was good. You did have it end in disqualification. Becky used the title belt to hit Maxine Dupri. Becky retains her belt. The more interesting piece from all of this was the fallout and what they will do with Becky Lynch, the vision, all of it going forward. So we did have a backstage promo of Becky and Paul Heyman shortly after, where Paul is trying to, number one, go to Adam Pearce's office to talk about the Braun brothers. Pearce says that Braun and Bronson, their graphics have been removed from the Battle Royal. I assume what they were about to say was, we can't get them in there because the AI program is not working. I thought they were going to just do something like that, but they were just having Adam Pearce basically say, use your manners and apologize and use yeses and pleases and sorries, and then I will add them back in. Pearce doesn't add Braun and Bronson back to the Battle Royal. We'll touch on this in a little bit when we get close to the Battle Royal. I don't know how I like this. What I did like was the Becky Lynch Paul Heyman moment, where Becky gets in Paul's face and grabs him, and she talks all nasty to him, not in a weird way, but she gets really aggressive. And I like Becky is the mouthpiece for Seth with this, and the direction they could go, where when Seth comes back, he's getting revenge on everybody. Now I wonder what they will do with Becky now that we are going to Saturday's main event, Survivor Series. The vision is imploding. You only get the Braun brothers doing their thing, and Becky's totally separated now. What does Becky Lynch do? Is she going to get, as we heard cheers in the crowd for AJ Lee? Is AJ Lee going to come back and go up against Becky for the IC title? The women's divisions, both the world title and the IC title, I feel like they're kind of in a rough spot right now. They can totally pivot and do something fresh. I like this Maxine Dupree match, but Becky has no program now. I think that a safe bet and a safe thing to do would be to have AJ Lee approach Becky one-on-one. However, they won the tag match, the mixed tag. Why would AJ come and want to attack or confront Becky? It should be kind of the other way around as a heel. But maybe AJ Lee's just like, I want to win gold, and off they go with that program. I don't know who else could fight for the IC title, like unless they start bringing people back up. But Becky should be doing something different now. They might have to pivot her whole story, I don't know. So Stephanie Vaquer versus Roxanne Perez, they have their match. Stephanie Vaquer wins, and then you get the run-in from Miss Nikki Bella. And she comes down, and her top is just blasting all over the place. They had to cut to black on Netflix, because I think there was just some moments and incident that happened from this level, and then people were not able to see. The live crowd probably saw something, but we didn't. But she comes down to help out Stephanie. Unfortunate spot. Stephanie tries to do a springboard splash from the ropes onto Raquel and Roxanne, and he didn't end very well, and she landed on her knee, so hopefully Stephanie's not very injured from that, because it looked painful. The heels run off. We got a backstage moment where you got Stephanie and Nikki Bella backstage. For me, I never like Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella's fine. I never like her promos, and I never like her backstage interactions. It always feels like somebody has really rehearsed their lines. I can hear the acting. That's what I always think when I hear someone like Nikki Bella talk. It's very much, I'm speaking in a way that these are my lines. And that's how it come across. It doesn't have an authentic feel to it. I didn't, as soon as Nikki Bella's music hit and came down, I just said, why? Like, we're not getting Stephanie Vaquer, your new world champion, who is supposed to be the next thing, the next big thing in the women's division. She's had all this momentum, and you're putting her in a tag team program with Nikki Bella against Judgment Day. Okay, fine. That's probably going to be Saturday night's main event, or it's going to show up on Raw after Saturday night's main event. I don't want to see that. As soon as the music hit, I kind of groaned, because I want Stephanie to be in a proper singles program with somebody that has depth and meaning and there's something behind it. But I don't really know, when you look at Raw and the landscape of the women's division right now, this is where I said earlier with Becky Lynch, I kind of feel like they got a bit of a problem, because Bayley and Lyra, they're off doing their thing and they're trying to get with the tag teams. And you got Nikki doing her thing with Stephanie, Judgment Day, and Becky Lynch. Ooh, Naomi's gone. Like, you feel like your Liv's gone. You're missing some star power, I think. They may need to shake up the brands a little bit, because Stephanie has nobody. So for me, this feels like Nikki and Stephanie tag against Judgment Day. As Nikki said in the promo backstage, like, she kind of wants to be next to get a title shot. So it feels like Nikki Bella is going to turn on Stephanie Vaquer, so we could get that match. Is that Saturday's main event and they fast track this thing in 2 weeks? Maybe. Or it's Survivor Series and they're going to do Stephanie versus Nikki Bella at Survivor Series. I don't really want to see it. I don't see the value that it brings. You're trying to build Stephanie up further. She should just come out every week and have banger matches and keep fighting Roxanne. I'm totally good with that, but build up some new contenders. I think that's where they're going to run into an issue. Battle Royal for the vacated World Heavyweight Championship #1 contendership spot to go up against CM Punk at Saturday night's main event. That's a lot of stuff to say. When Pierce announced, let's combine a little bit of everything here. When Pierce announced the Battle Royal at the beginning of the night, I kind of groaned. Now I know we got 2 weeks until Saturday's main event, so they got to kind of pivot really quickly with all of this. I understand. You got to put something together because we need an opponent for Punk at this show. I don't like the Battle Royals only because they're Battle Royals. I would much prefer that they went and did a quick tournament that was 3 weeks long, like Raw, and culminate at Saturday night's main event for the finals, semifinals, and do it there. That's just me. Battle Royals can be fine. You did have a lot of star power in here, which is great, and you did have a couple of stories mixing in all of it. But here's the thing, as we got through to the ending of this Battle Royale, Braun and Bronson nowhere to be seen. They had a little backstage thing with Paul Heyman, and Paul was talking them up, like they're like, let's go steal the, Braun Breaker had the best line in there. He did say, like, with Adam Pearce, they're gonna go, it's like, we should just take his shoes and then just like take him out. I love that their thing is like, we'll steal his shoes. Paul comes in, they're kind of like, why aren't we in this thing? Get it fixed. And Heyman saying to trust him and trust the process, because look what he did with Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, CM Punk for their career. It's all gonna work out. Braun and Bronson were not involved in this Battle Royal whatsoever. I thought they would come out at the end, either in the Battle Royal itself to insert themselves in, or I thought they would show up at the very end. They did not. So after all this momentum you had with Braun and Bronson, you really pulled it back. Like, I like the beginning with Braun Breaker walking out with the world title. And I like what they were trying to do. I just felt like they could have done more. This was such an opportunity, in my eyes, to really elevate these guys, to show how scary they are. Get them intimidating Becky Lynch. Instead, you got Becky intimidating Paul Heyman. Maybe it's just because the idea is things are going to culminate at Saturday night's main event with a big spot and a big moment. So with this Battle Royal, you had the likes of Otis, Jimmy and Jay, Punk is on commentary, which I like, LA Knight's in there, AJ Styles, Judgment Day, and a whole bunch of cast characters, Sheamus as well, which was fun. There's a moment in there that I did like, and I hope they play with it more. Sheamus is eliminating Finn Balor and JD McDonough. And in the background, you see Dom Mysterio, and he's not helping Finn and JD. I hope that they will go and kind of replay the tape with this on next week's show, so that you have Finn and JD being like, Dom, you didn't help us. Kofi Kingston helped to get the elimination on Sheamus. That was interesting, and Dom stayed back. Dom also snuck out, got eliminated, and snuck back in because the refs didn't see him. Love that they're doing this Eddie Guerrero style of cheating with Dom. It's working really well. So Dom is in the very end with Jey Uso. Jimmy and Jay had their backstage moment earlier in the night where they're going back and forth where it's like, well, we're still good, but we're going to eliminate each other. Jimmy saves Jay. Then Jay ends up eliminating Jimmy at the very end and then tosses out Dom Mysterio. When it was down to Dom and Jay, I honestly wanted Dom Mysterio to win. In my head, I said, oh man, if Dom can win, big pop, he goes up against CM Punk at Saturday night's main event, have Dom win the world title and he's a triple champion. I would have been into it, I'm sorry. I just would have. I mean, like, it's totally different. It would have been out of left field, triple champ. It would have been so much fun. But you end up having Jay throw out Dom Mysterio. I kind of feel it's the boring pick. You have Jey Uso win. He's going to face CM Punk at Saturday night's main event. I think the match will be great, but I feel like it's boring pick, kind of predictable. If it was Jay or LA Knight, I'd probably say the same thing, where I'm like, this is a predictable finish. I do wish that they did a fresh, different direction with this. They didn't. But there's some elements in here that are interesting because Jay and Jimmy are having a lot more tension. Jimmy's really not happy with Jay now because he eliminated him. And you have Punk and Jay and their dynamic. It's all going to culminate at Saturday night's main event. What do you think is going to happen there? Because they can do a couple of things. One, you could crown Punk as champion. You could crown Jay as champion. And it could be a short run. You could do something different. Paul Heyman talking to the Braun brothers about kind of like, trust him, it'll all work out, and you know, they'll get to the very top and they'll have the world title. I feel that Paul Heyman, Braun, and Bronson are going to wonk that world title finish. I think that they're going to end it in a double DQ and we do not get a world champion crowned. Either just the two of them get involved and they cost both guys the chance at the belt, because if they do that, they've kept the belt in limbo. I think that for story-wise, it would work better if they had no champion, because you don't want to put the title on Punk at a Saturday night's main event. For TKO and WWE's marketing and all that, having Punk win the World Heavyweight Championship is a huge deal. You really want to do that at just kind of a random Saturday night's main event? I don't think so. You could put it on Jay, but we've done that. And I think Jay's story is much more about the Usos with Jimmy, with Roman, and that dynamic. Yes, Jay is trying to get back to the world title scene, but he needs to not get there, in my opinion. It's more interesting if he's not. So I think that if you just don't crown a new champion at Saturday's main event, want that finish, end it in just a mess. Braun Brothers come out. Maybe that's where they add a new member. The rumbling's forever and people are gonna like it or they don't like it, and I understand both sides. A lot of talk of like Austin Theory, for example, being a new member. It would be nice if it is Austin Theory or somebody else. It would be maybe like an Obafemi. That'd be kind of killer. If it'd be really nice if they came out at Saturday's main event, the Braun Brothers walk the finish, but they add somebody else. You could see Jay and Punk getting taken out, maybe an LA Knight or Jimmy come down to try to help and even the odds. Probably Jimmy. That's where you could insert new member for Vision now that Seth's out and Becky's not involved. That makes them even stronger, and this could be all part of Paul Heyman's plan. I would love it if it was an Austin Theory, to be honest, because it's somebody young, somebody who's been off TV for a very long time, whisper quiet, nice surprise, or you bring in like a giant monster of Obafemi and he works with these guys. Then you have three dominant monsters coming in for this new faction or this refresh of a faction. This could also then, you're trying to get to Survivor Series, right? And it's presumably War Games. Now will Punk and Jimmy and Jay and all these guys be up against the Vision in a War Games match? Maybe, maybe not, because they ain't got enough members in there. I think keeping that title vacated is going to be way more interesting than if you just crown Jay as champion or even Punk as champion. And I like Punk, but I don't think it's a good time for it. But two things. One, comment below what you thought about Monday Night Raw overall and the ending to the Battle Royal. And two, if you guys can, hit the subscribe button, because we're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers and a lot of you do end up watching the videos, but we don't hit that button. And it helps, it's free, and it helps us grow and all that good stuff. If you want to talk more WWE topics, click this video right here, because we're talking about Cody Rhodes going heel, maybe, or Randy Orton maybe going heel. We deep dive that whole topic. Have a great day. See ya.